Jet pilots don't use rear view mirrors.
What up, OB Nation? Brandon Cochran, Alex Raj, co-founders of Optimum Basketball. We're incredibly excited to talk to you about today's topic, which is jet pilots don't use rear view mirrors. As always, our goal is to bring you as much value as possible, the basketball player, and we're going to take a practical approach, so you're going to learn the mindset, the skills, the tactics necessary for you to ensure success on the court. If you want to maximize your potential as a basketball player, you've got to get laser focused on your goals and what you want to accomplish in the future. And those goals, those outcomes that you want are going to pull you towards what you desire. So if you're focused on the past, it's not going to work. You're not headed that way. So make sure you're focused on what you want to accomplish. Could you imagine a jet pilot looking into his rearview mirror before takeoff? No, it's absurd. It's ridiculous because jets don't have rearview mirrors. It's absolutely pointless.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not saying you guys are jet pilots out there, but we're using an analogy. All right, you're taking off from your basketball career and your results on the court, and too many times, especially with young players and players of all levels, but basketball players let the play before affect them. Let the practice before affect them. Let missed shots in the training affect them. And they're thinking about, oh man, I messed up. You know, I missed that shot. I dribbled off my foot, or I threw a turnover, or whatever it is. I messed up my defensive assignment. Okay, and they're focusing on what just happened, the negative thing that just happened, instead of, okay, whatever happened, that's in the past. Now, what am I going to do, all right, to help my team win? All right, now maybe you got to work a little extra harder, push it on the defensive end, say you threw a turnover on offense, go get it back on the defensive end, all right? Get your team back that possession, all right? Okay, you missed a couple shots in a row. You think the best shooters think about the 3 shots they just missed? No, they're thinking and visualizing in their head, making that next 3, right? Or making the next 3 or 4 after that. They're not dwelling on the past. It's not going to do anything for you as a basketball player. It just takes away from your mental focus if you're focusing on the negative and what happened. You got to focus on the positive and future to change your outcome in the game and to help your team win on the court. Also, same thing in practice. We have bad practices. Everybody has a bad practice, but you can turn your practice around. Or you have a bad practice. That's okay. Tomorrow's practice is going to be a great practice. All right. Or maybe you have a couple bad practices in a row. All right. That third practice is going to be really, really good. All right. That's what you got to be focusing on. Everybody gets in slumps. Shooters get in slumps. It just happens as a basketball player. But it's what you do, what you focus on, that determines your success in the future. Is that slump going to turn into a bad season? Or is it going to be a couple bad practices and maybe a bad game, and then you get over it because you're not thinking about what happened or why you did this or that, but you're just thinking about how can you fix it, how can you make a shift in your preparation, your mental focus, whatever it is that you need to do to get out of that. And even in trainings, we see it all the time. Players going through a training, going through certain drills, missing a bunch of shots. Oh man, I suck. Start saying all the negative language like, man, my shot's off, or I suck today, or man, I can't hit this. Why am I not able to, shoot from here? Usually I can shoot, and just coming up with excuses and, negative language, negative thoughts in their head. When really they just need to, all right, take some time, breathe, all right, maybe visualize, all right, in their head, them going through those shots, right, knocking down a couple of threes, like taking the time to see it, all right, and then get back into it, and you refocus, and more often than not, you'll be able to knock down those shots or do that, ball handling drill, crossover, step back, whatever it is. You just need to take time, breathe, refocus on the positive, and you'll get positive results.
Your mindset is a really important aspect in the game of basketball, and we talk a lot about mindset and your mentality. Are you mentally tough here at Optimum Basketball? And especially for this topic and not using a rear view mirror. It's one of the easiest things for us to do as basketball players is have the mindset that, you know, we start beating ourselves up, or we start getting critical, or like, oh, like you were saying, you know, why did I make that mistake? Why did I do this? But developing that mindset to where, sure, you make a mistake, but you quickly turn it around and you're focused on the next play. And you're focused on moving forward and where you're headed. So that's really part of this article and this topic as well, is a jet pilot, when they're going to a destination, they chart their course, right? So this analogy for your goals as a basketball player, maybe you're 9 years old, maybe you're 20 years old, depending on where you're at in your basketball journey, we all need to have goals. So a jet pilot, you don't just take off and hope you reach your destination. You have a course, you have an altitude you're flying at, you have your pre-flight checklist, you have, you know, all of these things that you're doing to prepare to go on your flight, and then while you're in the air, all of those things. Same with a basketball player. So you have your warm-up, right? We don't just start a game and tip off.
Right.
We go through layup lines, we do defensive slides, we get prepared. So a lot of this correlates with basketball in this analogy. So the biggest thing for you in developing your mindset is you got to have goals. You got to have something that you're reaching for, you're striving for. So maybe that's making a certain amount of free throws in a row in a day. So that could be one goal on Tuesday, or making a certain amount of jump shots, or becoming an all-county player, or all-state selection, or playing Division I basketball, or playing in the NBA. Whatever your goals are, set that goal. And of course, you want to know where you're going, you want to chart the course, and are there going to be setbacks? You might have an injury. I know I had a few injuries, Alex had a few injuries, and that, again, to your mindset, like, you're going to have setbacks, you're going to, you know, maybe be super sore the next day, you're going to have to make adjustments to your training, make adjustments in practice. So that is being focused on the goal that you want and stopping at nothing to make it happen. Making adjustments, being smart, and getting there no matter what, by any means necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I think the biggest takeaway for you guys at home through this episode and through this blog is to have a short-term memory when it comes to mistakes, you know, and not just forget them, you know, evaluate your mistakes, know what you did wrong, and real quick, just take a quick analysis, and then from there, make the correction, all right, so it doesn't happen again. And if it happens again, short-term memory, learn from it, and move on. Just don't let your mistakes keep on compounding, and take you down, because it's not, oh man, today's not my day. Just, oh man, I made a couple mistakes, but I'm gonna turn it around. All right, I'm gonna own this day, I'm gonna own this performance, I'm gonna own this practice, I'm gonna own this training, I'm gonna own this game. All right, you control, you know, what you can control, and that's your performance and how you mentally approach your mistakes and your successes and all that. So just as jet pilots don't use rearview mirrors, you as a basketball player don't need it.
Train hard,
Train smart.
play the optimum way.